it's something that we try to discuss in preseason. So we always have a player-parent meeting ahead of the season and the first practice. And, we go over our rules and our expectations, and we make it clear that parents are not allowed in the dugout. They're not allowed to kind of hover the dugout. We don't want them bringing Gatorades and snacks, in between innings. We try to make it very clear early on that this is how we want to run the organization. And then we go from there. Now, there is always that one or two parents that either hang in the dugout, and I think it's our job as coaches just to be respectful, and maybe it's in between games. It's not in front of all the other parents. We're not there to embarrass them, but sometimes they do want to help. And at those ages of 9, 10, 11U, that mom or dad has been coaching them their whole life. So now taking a step back and just being mom and dad can be tough for them. So I think it's talking them in between games, in between maybe even midweek before the next tournament, and say, listen, I know we talked about it earlier on the season. I'd really appreciate if you could just go be mom or go be dad. I'm having a hard time communicating with your son because I feel like every time I tell him something, you're contradicting it or you're giving him something else, and it's just too much information at once. So after that, then it's a little bit harder of a conversation. Then you got to really sit down and be more stern, but go over it in advance, go over your rules and expectations, and then if it continues to happen, try your best to just talk one-on-one with that specific parent, and good luck. Those are not easy conversations.
Yeah, and I think that for us to realize that us as coaches, our job is to do what's best for the team as a whole. Yes, we care about each individual, but we're looking at the team overall success and trying to develop everybody. As a parent, that parent cares about their child. All they see is their child. When their child sits the bench, it's like their child sitting the bench. They don't know when Johnny and Mikey they don't know when they're all sitting the bench. So one game we had everybody sit the exact same amount of innings, and yet one parent was like, my son's sitting more than everybody else. What? And then we showed everything on Game Changers like, no, that didn't happen. Look, everybody sat. It's like, oh, well, I didn't know that so-and-so sat. Well, yeah, that's because you only care what your son's doing. Like that's all you can, not that's all you care about, but that's all you can really see. You're there to watch the game. When is he playing? When is he not? Where is he playing? He's in the outfield, he's in the infield. So I think that what Coach Steve said hit the nail on the head, because we have to bring that to their attention prior to, make them aware of that prior to. So when it's happening, it's like, oh, okay, I never really thought about that. Or that 24-hour rule to where they're not talking to you right after the game and they're attacking you with 10 questions and why is my son? You're still going to have that parent that's still going to do that, but you got to hold true to I have no problem talking to you tomorrow. Please let's talk tomorrow, and I'll gladly give you my time. But right now, it's not the right time because they're heated and you're heated. Maybe you lost the game, maybe this, that, and it's like, or you're getting ready for the next game. So the 24-hour rule is a huge thing that can really deflect the conversation to at least get into a better place for both of you when you really want to talk about it.
Yeah, and we have our lineup card templates available on our website, and I've used it and I keep track of them throughout the entire season. So I just have a folder. After the game, I push it onto the left side, and it's what Duke just said is so true about parents coming to the defense of their child. I had a parent a few summers ago actually come up to me and really question whether or not I was being fair to his son. And he was talking about playing time and how he's only gotten a couple innings in the outfield and he's a glorified designated hitter and he's never playing in the field. So it made me question myself for a second, because I'm usually pretty fair with defensive changes and replacements. So I actually went back and I mapped out every single game. It took me some time, but I sent an email to the parent and I said, listen, your son has played, we've played a total of, let's say it's 100 innings. Your son's played 48 innings at first base. He's played 37 innings in the outfield. He's pitched 24 innings, and he's DH 12. Like, it really wasn't that – he wasn't a glorified DH. But I think, like Duke said, sometimes as a parent watching the game, you only see when your son is hitting, or when your son is, maybe just hitting and DHing, or when your son's the EH for an inning, and they start to wonder, why is he not playing and why are the other guys playing? So I think just keep track, right? Keep track of all your lineup cards. I do it just for, my own clear mind at the end of the year, so I can actually go back and give a real reasoning and an explanation behind, who played what and when and where.